Welcome back. They are ready to go, so let's hop right into it. Yeah, I see that everyone was not talking about the game, but rather about math? Like, of all things to talk about, you guys, come on now. 20th to the 7th in the... Oh, God, ugh, terrible. Want to thank everyone for watching, especially since the 24-hour stream is still going strong, I suppose, but... If you want to watch, Terran, maybe? Because I don't think anyone else is playing Terran on that stream. Yeah, that's what I'm going to assume is happening. And speaking of which, in the bottom right on Dasan Station, in this best of 3, it is the green Terran aLive. In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is hinO. Got to cast him recently. I remember because I eventually made the joke because I said he knows, and I was like, haha, hinO, I get it, yeah. So I know we've cast him recently, but I don't know if he can stand up against aLive. aLive's looking on form, despite it being a very bad time for Koreans, and of course on the European server. And I don't think I played the ads during that last ad break. Oh well. 2 cents not made. Feels bad. Yeah, Dasan Station's also like, again, I talked about this in ZvT. Don't really know the ZvT, you know, matchup, 100%. And on Dasan Station, it's kind of like this question mark all over the place for every single matchup. But I kind of know the Terran thought process on this map at the very least. Basically, I look at this map, I think any Terran looks at this map, and they're like, tanks. Right? Like that meme, right? Oh shit, I'm actually not in the game. I haven't done this in a while, guys. I have not gone to the screen overlay in a bit, but I'm gonna redo the intros then. In the bottom right, as the green Terran, it is aLive. And in the top left, it is hinO. Lucky I didn't actually miss anything really important on the visual aspect. Other than I said the positions and you couldn't see the positions, so great stuff. But yeah, so if you look at this map and you think tanks, you know, I can actually show you the map, that would be great. And you think tanks, because there's chokes. Even back before these chokes existed in the very first iteration of the map, like you saw these cliffs, and you saw the ramp, and you saw the base layout, and you're just like, okay, I think tank can do something here. Anything siege-worthy basically can do something here. Quick second barracks, though, means that... and of course Command Center also went down, but a quick second barracks means that it's not really going to be about tanks at all. aLive is going for what is probably the most standard build for Terran. Oh, I didn't pop as a mod initially, that's weird. Anyways, so... yeah, the most standard Terran map, not map, build, map on the brain, the most typical Terran build is going for the fast second barracks, and then the faster medevacs, the faster double drop. I kind of liked the way that Rifkin looked at it. It was like, okay, this has probably been, you know, cultivated not from just this. And there's a lot of reasons to why you would want to go for quick double drops. But also the fact that, like, a single drop, like a single tank drop, has never been very good. The Widow Mine drop into the tank drop is 1 medevac at a time, and has not been very good for a while either. And then there was the Queen buff. So when you consider that, like, one drop, one trick drop, where you're trying to micro your heart out with one single medevac, probably not going to do too well. But if you get 2 medevacs, and you get 16 Marines, then suddenly things look a lot better, especially if you can unload them all. But this is certainly not what I expected from hinO versus a Terran. Now, I do recall him doing this last time we cast him, but I was pretty sure it was versus a Protoss, not a Terran, but I might be wrong about that. But mass drops. aLive knew something was up. He has a bunker. It's also Dasan Station, so chances are a bunker at the front of the base is never a bad idea. And this is already going to be quite helpful. Now, the medevacs aren't out, and that would have been very helpful as well. And there's really not so many Marines here, and this might just be good enough. aLive was expecting aggression, but maybe not this aggression. The SCV surround in the bunker ends up being really good. Repairs it for so long, but they are starting to die. And this really is all of the Marines for him, and when they get surrounded, they're going to go down very, very quickly. And aLive, I think, has been broken. 4 Overlords full of Lings, man. It's going to take out aLive. That's quite surprising, actually. I think aLive. how many Marines did he end up having? 10 plus 3. 13. I think he actually had to stop production on his barracks for a few seconds because he built the bunker. Which doesn't sound like a big deal, but imagine if he has all 16 Marines ready to go. He wouldn't have had the medevacs ready to go. That was still transferring. But all 16 Marines, 4 of them in a bunker, and then 12 of them in the mineral line or something like that. That probably looks a bit better. Then you wait for the medevacs, you have stim on finishing up actually, and kiting against lings and queens isn't that big of a deal. But because I think you only start off with like 10, yeah, or 9, and then 4 in the bunker, it was actually and they weren't in a good position either. They were kind of like spread out. The ling jobs ended up being really perfect. But you never expect those ling drops, I think, as a Terran anymore, especially because Arena's not in the map pool anymore. You know, that was the one map where you'd be like, okay, maybe I should be a little bit careful. Oh, cool. I actually have no problem if aLive wants to make the maps, as long as he makes them correctly. And he is. Great. The finals, by the way, the winner of this will be facing Guru. The finals would be on King Sejong Station to start things off, by the way. Just as a side note, where did it go? To actually go into game this time. That's helpful. And this is aLive's map choice. Probably feeling a little bit, angry, probably not that extreme of an emotion, but a little, like, perturbed, maybe, is the correct word, that he did die to that, like that. So I think he's gonna look for some revenge. In the bottom right's currently down 1. It is the green Terran aLive. In the bottom, no, it's the top. The top left as the red Zerg. He is hinO. Alright, so, you know, don't expect that too often, as I was saying. But on the maps, you would expect it would be very short maps, right? Getting to Frost, cross position, diagonal, that's a pretty big map. I don't think you go for link drops again, but it would certainly have that surprise factor, you know? It'd be difficult to pull off, I think. Plus, aLive might be thinking about a different build now. Again, that was a build that if you have all your Marines, you know it's coming, and then you just wait for the medevacs, I think does actually very well against that. But if you don't, and your medevacs aren't out, and your Marines all over the place, then it doesn't do very well, right? As we saw. And there are certainly other builds Terrans can do besides that one. I don't know. It's also, like I was saying, one of the most standard builds coming into play nowadays. So it's usually pretty safe. Command Center are going to go down. hinO, I think it's going to be a game about what he is going to do. Same, I think it's what aLive's thinking as well. Like, okay, is he going to cheese me every single game? Is he going to be, you know, all-inning me in the mid-game? Like, what's going to happen? He's probably going to be a little more on the defensive side, but still playing to the Terran strength with drops and whatnot, of course, if he can get there. Okay, second barracks does go down. And I want to note, like, this little thing, right? This is, like, totally pro... awesome, you know, secret strats, okay? Get ready for this, guys. Your mind's gonna be blown, alright? For years, consider that Frost was in the map pool in Heart of the Swarm. Terrans would not wall off like this, but this is actually the better wall off you can get against Baneling Busts. Not that Baneling Busts are super common anymore, but if you can change up your habits, if your habit as a Terran player is to put the barracks in the middle, and you can actually find it in yourself to change it up, this is better. Your reactor won't die to the Baneling Bus now, and you'll have double Marine production, even if your wall is still broken. So, just a little tidbit. Actually takes no effort whatsoever, except to, you know, relearn your habit, as I was saying. Because I know, I think I'm going to do this every single game, right? I'm going to change it up, I'm going to be a total pro, and then just, I throw down the barracks in the middle of the damn wall anyways, and I don't bother to move it, so. Tricks and tips. The more you know. I don't do jingles. This is that exact same build, by the way. That wasn't clear. Factory comes down. Starbuck's gonna come on the way. Reaper's job, just to scout. He did an okay job scouting last game, but who expects 4 Overlords to come, you know, rushing over? Not many people, so you can't really blame the Reaper. But what's certainly gonna help with scouting is actually seeing a third base this time. And if he gets to see that, then he'll have a little bit less to worry about. Not that I think hinO is really going to go for the Ling drops again on this map, but still, it was a surprise possibility. Oh, look, a Baneling Mist. So you know what else is coming back into fashion? Oh, Reaper dies. Oh, poor Reaper. That was like 1 Ling. That definitely should not have died, but it was already so damaged. Oh, that sucks. Marine's gonna go Overlord hunting, by the way. Try and stop hinO from ever scouting this build, but might open up the... Oh, no. He's Marines. Never mind. But the Baneling Mist, you know what else is coming into fashion? So, like, 1 base Baneling bust, not really happening, right? 2 base Baneling bust, not so much happening. The 3 base Baneling busts, I feel like, are coming back as that kind of, like, surprise all-in, right? Because there's actually a big complaint right now from Zergs, especially because the tank drop exists and whatnot, that they're all-ins, you know, not their Roach Ravager all-ins, but even that, to an extent. They don't work anymore. They're just the Terran's too good defensively. But I feel like these surprise, like, hey, I'm gonna go for mutas, and I'm totally gonna get upgrades. JK, I don't get upgrades. I just get a lot of Baneling all-ins, are as tricky as they were in Heart of the Swarm to scout. I hated those ones in Heart of the Swarm, because I'd always die to them. But I feel like they're gonna make a comeback, maybe. But hinO also might just be going for actual Ling Baneling Muta, because Cross-Spawn Frost is a map where you could try that. And if he's a big fan of Koreans, then he also might just, you know, like this style more. I actually know a lot of Zerg players that just, especially like non-competitive Zerg players, that just like Muta Ling Bling more to play with. And the ultimate goal to those, you know, to most people in StarCraft 2 is to have fun, so... Muta Ling Bling, a bit more fun than Turtle to Ultras, I think. The drop commences, and this is something that hinO, while I didn't really scout, isn't the most unexpected, so it's very unfortunate that his Lings were a little out of position, and the Banelings weren't ready to hit this immediately, but really doesn't lose too much. Oh, that would have hit. Well, okay, still doesn't lose that much for it. The Banelings going down is actually a big bummer, but he almost got this medevac, and that would have been a huge deal. That's actually already a pretty big deal that he was able to push it off. Unfortunately, not ready for this drop quite, though. Finds a decent position, and the Banelings are dead, so... Even if they weren't, the Banelings could be focus-fired. Ah, clever. The Queen Range is so fucking... Jesus, from here to here? Are you serious? Uh-huh. Medevac does get away, and it's important that it does get away. Oh my god, no Quins! It would have been important to get away because you have a medevac over here and a medevac over here. They might do damage, but more importantly, they're going to clear up creep. You know, they're going to kill this creep tumor, and they're going to kill this creep tumor, and then the Zerg is going to cry all day. But with only 1 drop going on, it's not as bad to clean up. And it's not as bad to tag, either, to make sure it doesn't start clearing up the creep. That's a little worrying. Third base was built back at home for aLive. There's the 2 follow-ups to that build, is the aggressive one or the macro one. Looks like his engineering bay was a little bit late. Oh. His engineering bay was a little bit late. Because he was microing, I suppose. This drop finally gets a bit of damage done. 7 workers. Pretty good. I say it's worth for a drop, like when it comes to like I don't even know about direct numbers, but like it's not about direct numbers. It is about what else could you have done with that drop had it not died, and is that worth 7 drones? And I'm actually not sure about that, because again, that could be a drop that later on could get 14 drones, or later on could get creep tumors or something. But I guess his time was kind of running out. Because hinO is going for mutas and not Roach Ravager, these drops would not stick around as long as they would in other games. So I guess kind of suiciding it was not the worst thing in the world. Close for both parties, but the medevac will eventually die. Oh, Marine's gonna try and intercept. Oh, good control from hinO though. Oh my goodness. Oh, he loses the muta. That sucks. Oh, yeah. Engineering Bay was late, but the 1-1's almost done, so 2-2 immediately starts. More barracks on the way, third CC on the way. I mean, the macro, it slipped the tiniest bit for aLive, you know, with an Engineering Bay, and probably he might have wanted the third CC a bit faster on location, something like that, but it was only the tiniest bit. hinO, his macro was killed a little bit, of course, with the drones, right? But for the most part, it's been pretty on point. He got up to a good number of drones pretty quickly. He's getting to a 4th base right now. His creep spread is finally really starting to get going, especially now that the medevacs are entirely pushed back. And he's looking pretty good. We've seen a lot of situations where Terrans from any region, North American, European, Korean, just kind of like, they forget how good Mutiling Bling could be on creep, especially, and we see them be way too forward. So I feel like that's always what I'm like afraid of when I see Terrans push into this like aLive is doing. He doesn't really have any splash, doesn't have any marauders soak up banelings, and he's got to be very careful. But hinO should not go off of creep. There's too many marines. Yeah, and he should just stay outside and clear up creep tumors if he can. It's really quite depressing to see creep tumors like over here. That's when like I think you already are almost like, okay, I probably lost. They're probably on the way to their ultras right now. I'm dead. Just GG. But if you can keep it back up to here, I think you're feeling pretty good as a Terran player. I was like, what are they killing? They're killing the rocks. There you go. But yeah, it is something though that aLive has to be very careful of. Because at any point, like, he clears up this, right? And he's building a 4CC. If he's not looking at his army and hinO happens to move in off of creep, but still move in, he's gonna lose a good chunk of marines. These are very susceptible to banelings. A single Widow Mine can only help out so much. Why the hell are you guys talking about dinosaurs? I swear, I look over to the chat at the wrong moments. What the fuck is happening? Okay. Anywho, Infestation Bit's on the way. I think there are definitely Zerg players that are still aggressive with Mutiling Bling, but you gotta, you gotta consider that if they're trying to be aggressive with the mutas, the Terran builds Liberators, and suddenly they're like a no-go, so you always gotta be a little bit careful about that. But it looks like hinO has kind of decided that maybe macro is the way to go, but he does actually push into this. I don't know. He is pushing off of creep, and Widow Mines were set up, and everything just goes to hell for him. Holy shit. GG. That was something that hinO did not have to do. He really... That's an attack that you think I'm gonna win, and that's why you do it, right? It's not an attack that you're like, yeah, I might win, so I should do this. They really looked like an attack where he was like, no, I'm gonna win. And then it very quickly was like, oh shit, I'm not gonna win. But there's not really any pulling back after that, you know? He knows. So I don't... That was weird. I think he was doing fine. If he kept on creep, sure it wasn't expanding and he wasn't getting to a 5th base, but 4 bases and a defensive maxed out army can get you to hive. And that's, that can be where, the push out actually comes out, is when you have ultras, you actually push them back and it goes into that late game, but oh well. aLive wants to make the map again. So I'll go to a quick break. I might have to cut it a little bit short. We'll see. So see you guys in maybe 2 minutes, maybe 1. We'll see. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there was a little bit of confusion, I think, about who was going to make the map. Because aLive wanted to, and I said go ahead, and then he said ahead? And I was like, oh, that's probably not something... It's probably not a phrase he knows. So I had to teach him that go ahead basically means yes. And then I think he wasn't sure what I meant by that. But now he's making it. It is going to be on Frozen Temple. Thanks to Gotta Love 69 for the 19-month resub. Will you send Get Better Soon flowers for Rifkin? So, funny thing, he has sent me Get Better fruit when I had a surgery like a year ago. Yeah, like a year ago. Because he actually has my address. Like, I have to give it to him for like the Partoufs and for like a Blizzard thing. He had to give it to one of the employees. I think I got his address like once, somehow, for whatever reason, and then I obviously didn't really save it, and I'm not gonna go back looking in the Skype logs for it, so I can't send him anything. Except well wishes and Steam video games. Feels bad. But I would if I could. I'd send food, because flowers are useless. Always send food. Anyways, game number 3. Game number 3. In the bottom right, as the green Terran, he is aLive. In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is hinO. Going for a pull first. Interesting. I feel like that's something else to talk about, but no, let's talk about the game. So, the pull first here always looks like what is the Zerg player doing? But when you consider that it's Frozen Temple and Reapers are very common here, and they're gonna want it defensively. When you consider the awkward timing of a Reaper scouts versus Lings, the early pull, I mean pull first, can actually net you some big gains. Either you slap down the Reaper, multiple Reaper builds so hard that the Terran goes crying home, or you slap down their command center so hard that they have to cancel it and rebuild it. That's the ideal scenario though, and hardly ever happens without a speed link follow-up, but sometimes you can actually kill the SCV at the very least and deny the command center a little bit and bring the Reaper back home. But as he is going for a Roach Warren, I don't think it was really either option. We've actually seen some Zergs so scared of 3-back Reaper that they go for the Roach Warren, and then when they realize it's not a 3-back Reaper, they cancel the Roach Warren. But I think this is just going to be an early Roach Rush, which is only seen usually on Arena, which is not a map anymore. And it's very odd to see it here. I say Roach Rush, but the gas wasn't taken that early. There's exactly 3 roaches can still do something, but it's not really a lot. This is really just, hey, I have some units, so be kind of scared of me, please. Oh, hey, look at that, the Lings will get back over there. And they're gonna try and kill the SCV. Regardless of killing the SCV, the point is it's not building a command center, so. Ideally, you would have caught this SCV too, and further delayed it, but oh well. Reaper comes back at the very least, and because Reaper has to come back, the Reaper did not scout the Roach Warren or the Roaches coming along here, but it is only 3 of them. So, you know, you should never lose the game. I think it'd have to be a very, very, very terrible timing scenario to have 3 Roaches deny the command center, by the way. I think that might have happened to me once, because I wouldn't get the second SCV on the command center fast enough, and it would still be building right now. And when that happens, it's just embarrassing. It's just like, oh, that shouldn't have happened. How stupid. But this time, the command center is done, because Eli's a pro gamer, and he's actually good at this game. And I'm not. And while he loses the SCV, this will not take very long to clean up. There's enough Marines, a tank on the way. He did lose the Reaper over here, which is very important. Not because it was necessary in the defense, although it can help. Grenades are cool. But because you don't know what's going behind this. Like, it could just be 3 Roaches, and maybe they turn a Ravage or not. Or it could be a Banelink follow-up. You don't know. I mean, even scouting if it's a Spire follow-up is really important, which it just might be, or it might be a Nidus Worm. This early lair is actually questionable. And aLive, unfortunately, while he scouts the early lair, and that's kudos to him for that, he also doesn't know if it's a Nidus Worm or a Spire. And the 2 responses are very different. Wow, look how low the command center got. I mean, I was never gonna die. If that died and I didn't see it, that's not even on me. That's on aLive. Can you repair it? Because it's on fire. Okie dokie. I'm gonna pay attention to that minimap then. It is a Spire, by the way, and that's something aLive will also want to scout. Interesting follow-up. The thing is, you usually don't want to stay on Spire, but we saw last game. You know, it does not mind going from Muta Ling Bling. So maybe he will transfer entirely into that, or maybe he'll only make 8 Mutas and then be done forever with the Spire. Okay, he does repair it. Single tank drop, I mentioned this before, not really that great. Never was really great. maybe Legacy. What the hell? Oh, I wanted the scout. I guess that was a very dangerous scout. In the beginning of Legacy of the Void, and everyone thought tank drops was totally bullshit. Yes, it was something to deal damage, but people very quickly learned just to stay calm, and one tank drop could not do very much. Now with a queen range, it does really nothing. He wanted the scout, he missed the scout, so he had to burn a scan, but he does ultimately see the mutas, and that's the important thing. So now he knows to basically have units in position. He does have engineering bay, but at this point, the necessity of missile turrets isn't huge. Like, you have enough Marines to cover one base, and you are on the like cusp of trying to get all your production, so you might want to hold off on the missile turrets, but he's actually going to throw them down now. So 3 of them, in fact. 1 here, and it is alive, so it's an alive turret. 1 here, and 1 covering his production. Like I said, that's enough Marines to cover 1 spot, but this is playing pretty safe. And since he does have a 3rd CC, I think he is, that was kind of like, play it safe. Play it okay. Still gets the barracks down, obviously. It just could have been 10 seconds sooner. Viking it feels very old school to see, but that range actually means it's quite useful against early mutas, plus the amount of Marines he has. A Liberator could come out and help out as well, but a single Liberator probably isn't even that great. I would at this point, with the Liberators being changed, I would take a single Viking over a single Liberator this early, just because again that range. Yeah, Marines in the bunker means those tanks should never die. hinO really running away with this game with the creep shred at the very least. I should say. He does need more drones, but he's only just not getting his 3rd base, so it's kind of matching up anyways. He gets 7 more drones here. aLive is going to take a 3rd base because he does have enough Marines. Doesn't really have to worry about being overwhelmed. The one scary thing, again, is the lack of scouting. Like, what if there was 50... Well, there wouldn't be 50. What if there was 20 Banelings ready to go, waiting for him to push out? That is something that happened all the time in Heart of the Swarm. And that is certainly something he has to be scared of, which is why he's being pretty cautious here. Really, going up against the edges of the walls, make sure Lings rounds don't happen, maybe using the minerals here, getting his tank on high ground, all good defensive measures. But we know that it is going to be back into roaches, +1 missile on the way. This creep spread, though, seriously, getting out of control. That's a lot of roaches. I guess... he has 2 choices right now. He's really taking quite a control over this game, which is nice. With these earlier mutas, as the follow-up. And the creep spread is going to give him a lot more time than no creep spread, obviously. It's going to give him like an extra, maybe even 30 seconds with how much there is. He could go for mass roach and try and be aggressive and win, but I don't think I would like that. I would really honestly prefer him to take this position and go for a lot of Ravagers and Infestors and Queens. Basically play like Snoot. Snoot with like a initial, game momentum lead here. Because I wouldn't really put hinO in a super big lead, but I think momentum-wise he is. So I had to specify him. I think Snoot has this type of position and he just runs with it. But hinO, if he tries to be aggressive, I think he's very much so a risk of losing an army and then losing the game to a counter. We'll see. That's a lot of tanks. That's some Liberators. That's upgrades being even. I really don't know about this hinO. He's gonna move in. This one tank isn't sieged. Stim goes down, and that is almost a concave too for aLive. Liberators come in as well. Actually, Corrosive Biles. Oh my god, those Corrosive Biles are actually really good. Oh shit. Oh no, things go sideways so quickly for aLive. He still has the tanks, but he loses 1. He loses almost 2. No, he does lose 2. Oh my god, hinO, he almost made this work. It's still a situation where I think at best he's going to get the 3rd base to lift up. He should not be able to kill it. He should not be able to kill it. He should not be able to... Oh no, they're repairing the bunker! Oh, Jesus! Oh, baby Jesus, repair the command center. God. Okay. Oh, the tank goes down. That's like his last tank. And he does get the command center. Oh my god. hinO's gonna do it. Is he? No. Well, I mean, killing the command center is pretty big. Oh, and those Corrosive Biles. This is the 2nd time they've been pretty good. They get medevacs. Oh, shit. Well, aLive knows, I think, that he done goofed. You know, he was surprised by that attack. I don't think he had a Marine over here to scout that, and if he did, he would have probably been a little bit better positioned. His position wasn't terrible, but there was like 16 Marines, like right where these are right here, that went down to Corrosive Biles. I gotta tell you, having not played the game for so long and like coming back into playing it, I've really forgotten how effective Corrosive Biles are. They're not just like, oh, they did a little damage to me, though. They actually kill Marines. So it can almost be deceiving. Plus, the importance of the defense is really about the tank drops, so a lot of the times Terrans are just watching their tanks and not their bio. But both can be equally important. But losing the command center, man. Looks like he's gonna get a 4th in revenge, but he might just lose the game. hinO up about 60 supply here, trying to push up a ramp. There are 2 tanks, but really, ideally, there should be 4 or 5. aLive should never have lost the initial ones. And I think hinO has done it. That means that a ZvZ will be the finals. The tanks still aren't dead. Corsair is trying to hit. Actually, Ravage is going down pretty quickly to the leftover Marines just because they don't have a lot of health. But hinO is still reinforcing, and while he doesn't have a 4th base, his other bases are still healthy enough to continue to reinforce. aLive is building his command center on location. What? hinO should just send a single... Oh, well, I guess not now, but he should still send something over here to at least get it lift off. Oh, God. Can hinO throw this game? Maybe he can. This might have been a bit too overzealous, this last round of like 15 roaches running in here. Oh my god, did he see the 3rd base? He did. Creep spread's slow to control, by the way. Good job on that. It's still 26 SCVs. This can... It's not even orbital yet. 2-2's about to finish for aLive. hinO has 2-1 though. I don't think hinO can throw this. We're gonna watch and see. hinO is starting to get that macro game back up going, and that's something that was definitely missing, was that he was getting a little tunnel visioned, I think. So 4th base, more drones, maybe some tech. Oh, he's gonna use that Spire again. I like that. Infestors also would have been pretty cool, but killing the medevacs at this point would be pretty important. Not just for the healing capabilities of medevacs, but also for the tank evac drop. The repair goes immediately on that command center with enough Corsair Biles anyways, but the Marines, they go a little farther ahead than they would want. Now a concave for hinO. He's trying to get on top of those tanks. He does not have high ground anymore. The Overseer died. Had a couple of shots on that one tank. And aLive is still holding on. He transferred, yes, that is his main, to his 4th base. But, okay, so you have 4 bases, quote-unquote, right? Like, that's still 21 SCVs to spread around to the base. That's 1 saturated base, not 2. And not 2.5, whatever you want to call this. I think hinO has 1. But, my god, if aLive's not trying to stay alive. Yeah, the card can also help with those drops, so... Drop not doing very much. aLive. Man, I think you're dead. I think you done goofed. You know what? Going back into Muse is not a bad idea. No more Liberators. The Viking's still alive. What a baller. But if Corruptors can't take down the medevacs before dying, maybe the Mutas with their mobility can. They can actually try and focus fire on top of the tanks or the medevacs that are picking them up. I don't know. I think if he just went for Ultras, that would also do it. But maybe trying to prove that Zerg don't need no Ultras. He's a strong, independent, mutilating Bling player. I have a tough time thinking of what aLive can do. He's tried the drops. He's tried the kind of almost secret base, you know, that every Terran tries. And he still does not have an economy? Or that much of an army. I guess hinO finally getting his +2 Carapace. He was missing that for some time. And aLive is kind of bridging the supply gap. Army supply, that is. Maybe if hinO tries to push in a move again, he'll lose too much. That's like the only thing I can think of that would do it. At this point, Liberators wouldn't help. The option of Corruptors is pretty powerful. Ghosts were not a thing until Ultralisks, so not a thing there. Yeah, just a big enough army for the potential to take a fight. It's still not big enough to actually take a fight, I think, unless hinO messes up, but it's getting close. Especially if hinO had ever tried to tech really hard, or BM. Like, if he was building a billion Spine Crawlers right now in the middle of the map, I think that he's wasting things, but those seems to be a base race, and this... It's usually Terran's like, okay, I can do this, right? But there's a Spire available, so no lifting your command centers. There's a bigger army for the Zerg player, and the army's not too mobile, I suppose, but it's still like eventually these armies should collide, and eventually hinO should win, but aLive's gonna try and take it here. He is better off probably not dropping these tanks. He's scanning ahead, seeing like how much of an army is waiting for me, and the answer is actually none. The entire army of hinO is on the other side of the map. Killing everything, though. That's the important thing. There's so many mutas, they're actually going to... It's not just that you are eventually going to kill a command center, you're going to kill the command center immediately. And aLive I think he's going to lose to an actual base race. Like, he's going to lose his last building and die without tapping out. hinO still has this base. He's building this one in the middle because he was a little bit panicked, although he didn't really have to be. Still, he's almost got enough for their hatchery, but then he's on Spine Crawlers, never mind. The buildings are gonna die. That's it. It's done. It's over. I mean, good choice by aLive. I think this was the best. If it was, he also maybe could have gotten the last buildings if he was really thorough, but hinO had money to throw around. So wait a minute, what the? Oh, this is bloody cool. Okay, he got some SCVs out. My bad, but. You know what you do? You just sack on top of that because there's nothing they can do about it. Boy. Oh jeez. Oh no. Oh my goodness. aLive can make a refinery. You better do that. Do it. What do you make? Where is he gonna make it? Alright, wait, where is he gonna make it? Oh, he canceled it. And the SCV's gonna die. Bye-bye, SCV. Goodbye forever. I think this might be more of a pride thing. I don't think aLive is so desperate for money that he's gonna spend 4 hours defending a supply depot because he needs $40 to eat. I think this might be more like, I can't believe I lost this game in general, but I also can't believe that I lost to someone that I don't know, right? So I don't think it's a foreigner thing so much as it is just like I've never really played against this guy. Maybe the last time I did, I won really easily, I don't know. But I wasn't supposed to lose to him. Good thing there aren't Partooth bets, or they'd be out of control, am I right? No one would have been on hinO. But hinO has definitely won. It'd be great if aLive didn't force me to keep talking to ruin my voice. This is now a silent cast. Watch and behold as aLive somehow saves this supply depot. hinO, just all in on it. You have 18 mutas. You have 3 corruptors that can also help piss on it. It's not out there. Just sack all your mutas on it and win. I know you think that maybe there's another building somewhere that you don't know about, except that it, you know, aLive's revealed, so that's not even a thing. But even if that was a thing, if there was a command center floating somewhere that you had no idea about, you still had a ground army. Like, your mutas aren't all your army. Just sack. Just go to the supply depot. It's 400. It's not even as much as an assimilator. God. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Okay, I'm getting a little too biased in this cast. But seriously, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Yeah. Well, now long distance mining from his panic hatchery. Oh, he went for it! I missed it! God damn it. Okay, well, yay! That happened. Cool. GG. Say it for aLive because he couldn't. His last building was killed. Blue Zelon. Thanks for subbing 16 months in a row. Keep up the good work. Thanks for everything. You're welcome. The finals will be a ZvZ between hinO and Guru. Congratulations, hinO, for getting this far. We'll see what a ZvZ looks like. Guru did just take out Bly. We'll be getting into that in hopefully 2 minutes. Hopefully Guru's around. Guru is, okay, yeah, waiting. So, see you guys in 2.